The thing that really struck me about this version of Macbeth is that you really understand what's driving Lady Macbeth. What she does seems to come from a place of fear. One of the first things we see is her and her husband burying their child. What went into preparing for that scene specifically, being that it has to say so much?
Um, we had the chance to experience Shakespeare with an amazing director, Justin Kurzel, who had a very, very strong vision of humanity. And that's what he wanted to show in this movie. He wanted to show the intimacy of this couple, the intimacy of Lady Macbeth and Macbeth. And he's not only a great director because he has a very strong vision of what he wants to do, but also he's an amazing director with actors. And we had the chance to rehearse for a month and a half and to explore the intimacy of those characters. And as you said, that we totally understand how they what their journey is, because they live with fears and pain, and instead of facing them, they try to escape them, and to by violence and power, and they try to cover this. But when you cover those feelings, you're not able to go beyond without facing them, and that's what leads them to madness. And I thought it was such an interesting way to explore Macbeth.
It's such an intimate execution of the story. So much is conveyed through close-up shots of the actors. How did that factor into your performance?
I'm never aware of how the camera films me. So I mean, if it's close or far, it doesn't affect the way I will play, because I will be in the same process even if I'm not in the shot. So this is something that because I don't need to know exactly where the camera is. I mean, there are some actors who need to know where the camera is, how they're going to be shot, but it's not part of my process. So yeah, so it doesn't affect the way I work.
It's interesting because as the story progresses, she begins to realize the severity of what she's done. It becomes very clear when her sanity starts to slip away from her. How did you approach those moments where she's moving into a different state of mind?
Well, the fact that she loses control of almost everything, and her relationship that she was trying to save. But the thing is, because she had this tragedy in her life of losing a child, when Macbeth starts to be totally out of control and starts to be this monster that she didn't want to create in a way, but that she created. And when he starts killing kids, that's when she loses it completely, because she tried to create a new world for them to escape this tragedy that they lived, and this is something that is unbearable, that he would make. That he would create a tragedy for someone else by losing kids. This is the turning point where she dives into madness totally.
I'm curious about working with a Shakespeare expert like you did in preparation for the film, I believe for a little over a month. What did you discover during that process that was new to you? Maybe seeing the play in a different light, seeing this character in a different light. Because even though the story's been adapted so many times, there's so much there. There's so many layers to derive something new from.
Studying the play, I discovered the richness of Shakespeare's writing, and also I discovered how organic his writing was and the rhythm he would create with the words. And this rhythm would create a very special energy that was so close to the emotions that I discovered the whole humanity of the characters and the play itself. And also, of course, Shakespeare was very famous for like the double meanings, the triple meanings sometimes of only one sentence that would mean, I mean, that you could have, you can have different interpretations. So the month of rehearsal was also making choices, because you always have to make choices with Shakespeare because of those different interpretation that you can give. And that was really, really interesting to explore thoroughly the play with Justin and Neil Swain, who is the Shakespeare expert. Yeah, that was, I mean, for an actor, it's an amazing playground where you need to find all the subtleties, and it really helps to build a very singular character.